So Pat is a member of Utah Valley Oasis, and she's about to begin training to become a Buddhist lay minister. So that's very exciting. And she's going to share her training as a gatekeeper in the suicide prevention program, QPR, which stands for Question, Persuade, Refer. Welcome, Pat.
So I'm not going to teach a whole lot today. I will give you some ideas, but I'm really trying to get you to take a class. And the QPR has a Gatekeeper Class, which what they want to do is teach each person, at least one person in every family, to know the QPR process. Kind of like CPR. They named it that way on purpose, so it sounds like CPR. The course is $29, but the county has a grant, and they cover all the costs. So I will be working with the county. You get the course, it's an hour to an hour and a half long. And so that's really what I'm just trying to make you aware of what's available. I first took the Gatekeeper Class, which is what I will be teaching others to do. And what it does is it teaches people how to respond, how to pick up on clues on what's happening. There was an example of a boy who went to his mom and said, "Mom, do you think there's a place in heaven for a boy like me?" And she turned to him and she said, "Sure." And within the day, he had killed himself. But so I know that she was trying to validate him. But what QPR teaches is to go one step further, is to sit down with someone who says something like that and start asking questions. But many times, unless we're taught, we don't know that. We just don't have that information. So what they'll teach is question. Oh, how come I cannot remember this P word? Persuade. Persuade. Yes, thank you. And then refer. So if many times people don't say, I feel like killing myself. But people might say, I don't really want to. Like I've heard this before, I don't really want to die, I just kind of like to step off the planet for a while. Or I think I'm really a burden on you. They might say roundabout things, and then we can pick up on them. Or you might not see them for a while. Or they might start giving away things that you think, that you realize are really prized possessions. And so that's a clue. So we have clues where people say stuff. Mom, is there a place in heaven for me? We have behavioral patterns where, like I said, they start giving things away. So QPR will teach you how to pick up on that. QPR is not a treatment. Nobody learns how to treat. But we do learn what to do is listen. Don't jump on it and interrupt. Don't tell them your stories. Don't tell them things will be better. Listen to them. Most people who come to suicide are thinking it, feel hopeless. All the tools in their quiver they've used. They don't know what to do. They don't see another way out. But what they do feel is lots of pain. So if you can, when you're talking to someone, you try to give them some kind of hope, and that will be determined on who you're talking to. One thing I learned many years ago that has been very helpful to me, I was in the community response team, and we took that, and one thing they said was, don't promise what you can't deliver. Don't stand next to somebody whose house burnt down and tell them it's going to be all right unless you can make it happen. Unless you can make it happen, don't promise it. But you can give hope. We can give hope. We can tell someone they matter, that we love them, that there's just people wanting them to live. Okay? So we first learn how to pick up all the different cues that are going on. Then we learn how to ask the questions. We don't say, "You're not going to kill yourself, are you?" But you might say, "Do you have a plan?" You might say, you know, people who act like this sometimes are really discouraged. You feel discouraged, and just ease up in there, and then find where they are. Then if you realize that they're in trouble, then you're prepared with referrals. The best referral is to call, make the appointment, and take them. If that doesn't work, then you ask them to promise. Will you promise that you'll go, if you can make the appointment, will you promise you'll go tomorrow? And follow up, and yes.
Just a safe question, so later, where would you be bringing them?
Well, okay, so this is what you learn in the class. Okay, so I'm sorry. So you could call you get a professional. You either take them to ER, you can look in the phone book. I don't have numbers, but that's what you would do. Excuse me, okay, great. So yeah, so get them to someone who will go. If they're in danger and you think something's going to happen right now, then you call the ambulance or whatever they do here. Do they do that here? You call them?
So if they'll go, you'll take them to the ER, and if not, maybe the police.
Yeah. So you can call for help. Sometimes the promise is good enough if you know the situation. Feel free to ask the question anytime. Then the other thing that we learn are the myths. People who are going to commit suicide are going to do it no matter what you do. And that may be true for some, but as an example, the Golden Gate Bridge, you know, a lot of people go there to end it. They did a study of 500 people that were talked down, who didn't do it. And then they followed them over the years, and only 5% of them finally committed suicide. The rest of them took the help. And they didn't do that. I don't know if you saw this video that's been going around on YouTube about the guy who jumped off the bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, and he survived it. And the thing that I really liked about that is that he didn't survive it and, oh, I love life and I wish I hadn't done that. You know, what wasn't a fairy tale story. He fell, he had years, I don't know how long it was therapy to get better, and he still has the thoughts. He still has those thoughts, but now he has developed a network. Now he has a strategy that he's willing to do. So many times if you go through something hard, it's nice to have support, but we all know we have to walk through it. Whatever the pain is, that's our gauntlet to walk, because support, if we're willing to take the help that's out there, then that makes the walk easier. There's a myth that people who are suicidal will reach out, and most times they don't. Most times they're hurting, and they don't know what to do. They'll give you the signals. They'll say, you know, life stinks, or, you know, the statistics show a week before someone commits suicide, they have said something to somebody. They have given a clue to somebody of where their mind is. So that's why the QPR training is so important, because our antennas go up, we know what to look for. We don't have to say, oh, he's just having a bad day. He didn't mean that. And a lot of times that is what's going to happen, is somebody will tell somebody, but it puts the fear of God or whatever in somebody. You know, oh, he didn't mean that. He doesn't feel that bad. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to ignore that. And so with learning, we learn that we don't have to be, we're not psychiatrists, we're not treating, we're giving people hope and getting them the help they need. Most suicides are from depression or some mental illness that hasn't been dealt with. So that's why it's so preventable. We can go get them the help, whether it's short term or long term, we can get them the help. Now, when I read this, I was thinking that I'm on medication for depression and anxiety, and I haven't been to a psychiatrist for probably 15 years. And my doctor keeps prescribing me the drugs, right? So it's real clear to me how this can happen. How they think, like, you think I'm being treated, but I'm really not. I'm not, you know, I'm not fixing anything. I'm just holding off on symptoms. Do you know what I mean? So I just share that with you, that just taking medication is not treatment. People need help. And it's easy for someone to write a prescription and say, how you doing? You're doing great, fine. Because they'll listen to what you say. So if you say, I'm really miserable, they'll help you tell them, doing good. So the person who's feeling depressed has to take that stand, and then that's why sometimes they don't reach out. And that's why we can help and get in. I saw that there were, I think it was 27, I'm sorry, I can't remember percent, I don't know if it's percent, 27 suicides last year that had nothing to do with any mental health or physical cause. Mental health, that they could have just been reacting to something, like I think it's called the lethal triad, where you have depression, drugs or alcohol, and a gun. So you could just be in a bad way one day and decide this is too far and going. So what I'm just trying to say is not every suicide is a mental health issue, though many of them are. Go to the branch. Okay, let me get my, am I talking 10 minutes? Good, because I'm almost done. Quick, any questions? Let's get out of here. So do you have any questions while I look up what I, yes, Catherine?
So, tell us how, you may have already covered this, I'm sorry, I was late. Tell us how we can access this training, and are you going to cover that so that we know how we can go and do it, and it's online, right? So we don't
okay, so you weren't here for this part.
Sorry.
So, no, it's okay, I'll repeat it, because because people are coming in because the time change is different. So I'm working with the county, volunteering with the county, and to give these courses. So there's 2 people, and so they will fund it. It's $29 if you do it online. If you do it in a group, it's free, because the county has a grant that will cover it. And then I took the Gatekeeper online, but I think I would have gotten much more out of a group. Because out of the group, it's a little bit longer, because people will talk, but people will share, and you learn more that way. It gets cemented in. So they suggested 15 would be the limit. So I think that I'll just set up classes. We'll do it through Oasis, and then I'll be doing some that aren't for non-Oasis. But yeah, so I'm going to try and see if they will let us at least do one a month.
That's great.
And then see how that goes. All right, so it is online, QPR Institute, and you can take it for $29 if you want to take it individually.
So Pat, would we contact you for the class, and it would be 2 or 3 hours?
The class won't last more than 2 hours. It's scheduled for 1.5, in and out. It's not deep, it's just stuff we haven't been taught, so it's a quick learn, and I need to get with the lady and tell her that there is interest and figure out a date, and I'll just post it. Or you can contact me if you want to and say, I'm interested, please let me know when the class is, and I can let you know when I put up the event. Okay, Pat Ellsworth on Facebook just messaged me. Yes?
I just had another group that's doing kind of the same thing as Safe Talk, and so they may have a program, same time. You can always look up Safe Talk, but they're under, it's called livingworks.net, and they have a half-day certification in Safe Talk, which is basically the same principles as
Well, the reason I was going with QPR is that every county in Utah uses them, and all the teachers are getting trained in it. So you'll be on the same wavelength as the teachers. So now we're good. So there's also I don't know if you know about this, there's an app called Safe Utah, and then you sign in as a student, a teacher, and then there's a parent or whatever. So I sign in as the parent, and then you can call right away. So it's right on the phone. You don't have to quietly go someplace, wherever you are, you can make the call, I need help, or so-and-so needs help. So This one says start a chat, so there's somebody online to talk to you. Send a tip if somebody you know needs help. View existing, I haven't been in there to see, and then call. So I just felt really good about this, especially for kids. Well, it's just especially for anybody. So, I don't know. Okay, so I just want to share something with you about the behavioral thing. That is personal, but I think that I just think that it'll help understand. I'm trying to think where to start. So we have the behavioral stuff, right? But then there's the people like that go around that are happy, that don't show those behavioral, and you can't do anything, right? But I think that there's probably still a message that close people will see. And I'm not going to tell a story I thought I was going to tell. The Spirit said no. So when you go through, you'll get a booklet, you'll get a pamphlet that lists every single thing about what QPR is, what it isn't, how to help, how to recognize all the different mental health issues. So I just put it out there. I'm so excited. I have struggled with this my whole life. And when I read this, if I get around somebody who's really depressed, I am down the rabbit hole, and it's really quite serious for me. But I took this, and the thing that I liked about it is I thought, oh, these people don't even know the people who are doing this, but they just have love for humankind. You know, I mean, it was just like almost going to church. I thought, there is so much love here for other people. This is such a kind way for loved ones and for the person struggling. So it just makes me really happy, and so for me, it's just like good medicine to be involved in this, and like when that guy on the bridge, and he said he still has those thoughts, but he just has a plan, and I thought, oh, I thought that was so cool. He didn't say, oh, I feel great, and all that's gone. You know, I might just struggle with this my whole life, and just, oh, yeah, that's my buddy. Also be trouble again, you know. So I think I like to get real, and I think that was really real. That even the story I told about the 500 people who tried to kill themselves on the bridge, 5% who did. I'm guessing that 495 still struggle. You know, we don't know their story. So we don't want to think, oh, they just went on their merry way. But for some of them, they found hope. So for me, that's what the QPR does. Find hope, learn to listen, and not teach, not preach, not judge, just listen, be there. Watch the Brene Brown video on listening with empathy. It's kind of funny, but it gets to the point. You know, the one that says, oh, I had miscarriage, oh, I never get pregnant. You know, everything's worse. You know, like my boyfriend and I had a fight. Well, at least you had a boyfriend. You know, not helpful. Not helpful at all. But if you never, did this just turn on?
Yeah. You were doing great without it, Pat.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
I couldn't tell. It was just great without it.
That's my calisthenics.
That's right.
Okay. So any question?
What was that Brene Brown one again?
Brene Brown. I think it's just empathy with it.
Listening with empathy?
So my problem with that thing was that once I learned how to listen with empathy, I was so pissed when I talked to people and they wouldn't listen with empathy. I'm like, you listen like this and nobody does, you know? Or you start to tell, I am feeling bad. Oh, I had a terrible week. Yes.
Yes.
I think the other thing that goes along with that of trying to one-up people, like, oh, that's nothing, my situation is so much more dramatic or worse. The other thing, I think it's so easy to fall into the habit of trying to fix it instead of just listening.
Yes.
And, you know, I remember reading books years ago on communication that were saying that, yeah, this is what women want to be heard and men want to fix stuff. So this is why that there's typically a problem, between husbands and wives, and she feels like she's not listening, and he feels unappreciated, or whatever. But I don't think it's limited to, one sex does one thing.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure I've done it all the way too, but I just try to remember that I think the first thing that people are looking for, unless they say, I have a problem, I need a solution, if they don't say that, what they're looking for first is probably validation and being heard.
Well, I have a friend, a sister actually, who does this, but I realize she's not trying to one up, she's trying to connect. Oh, I have this feeling too, this is what happened to me. But when you don't let the other person finish, maybe they need to talk. And let me tell you, unless you're with unless you have a tight relationship and you've worked it out, but listening is really important for that validation. And so, so that Brene Brown, and I used to do that, and I probably still do it a lot. But I catch myself more than I did in the past. Just listen and say, and I have learned to say, what do you think about that? Well, what do you think you'll do? And the other time I tell them, I got a half and half right. The other time I tell them, that's what needs to be done in their life. And so, okay. So, what I'll do is let you know I'll post when the classes are. For people who just came, we started way early today. And it's QPR, it's learning how to help someone, the warning signs, to help people who may be suicidal. There's also a portion, I think there's a portion in there that we'll learn about the people left behind and what to do with that. It's so helpful, and I think we can help so many people. So that's why I decided to do this. Anyway, so watch for the posting, and does anyone have any questions? Yes?
Is there an age limit for this? Like, would you recommend this training for like high school kids?
Oh, yes, yeah. I'll have to look back and see if it's any younger, but 12 for sure. I don't know.
My youngest had to deal with a suicidal friend in 8th grade, so yeah.
Well, and the research is showing that the suicides at age 10 is increasing dramatically.
Wow.
Yeah. My granddaughter, when last time I was there, she told me she wanted to kill herself. Yeah, and then once again, she was in a horrible situation. The people were supposed to help her, didn't help her. And she felt hopeless, right? So, so the 10-year-olds, and it's on the rise throughout the world. It's not just here, it's everywhere. And I think it's gone up 28% in the last 14 years. The number one cause, let me see the person who does it the most is the middle-aged white male. That totally surprised me because it's so, because we're focusing on the LGBT kids and on the teenagers, but the person who commits the most suicide is the, I think Brandy, do you know the numbers? 25 to 64. I think it's mostly men. Women will try it 4 times. Men are usually successful the first time.
They're more effective.
Pardon me?
They're more effective, they get it done.
They might make a better plan. I don't know. We don't know why, but yeah, women will attempt 4 times before they're successful, and the guy takes care of business.
Some have said it possibly is tied to the opioid epidemic.
Yeah,
that would
that's
explain that
increased.
demographic a lot.
Yeah, that's increased too. Good point. Okay, so the myth that if someone's going to do it, there's nothing we can do is not true. It might be true for a couple percentage, but most people we can help and get help. Okay, thank you, and look for